Nice job by Grant. Going out for the 7th. And we're going hitter to hitter there in the 7th. He gets that first guy out. I give him 2 more hitters, before I go to Dodd. But once the leadoff guy got on, and it was 2 out of 3 lefties after that, I went to Dodd, did a great job again. But all starts with Grant. Outstanding performance, and good to see Riley. A couple hits, homer, Ozzie again. So yeah, I think 6th win in a row. So boys are playing well.
Grant had 2 reasons to be motivated. He wasn't happy with himself the last start, and then all of us that are saying he needed a new starter. How does that motivate you? And to see him perform this way?
Yeah, look, these guys are human beings, man. I mean, they I'm sure that stuff motivates them. Yeah, I mean, these guys are plenty motivated and just playing in this league. It's so difficult, but yeah, you hear stuff like that. Players will take that stuff personally, and that's okay. I always say to players, find something that puts a chip on your shoulder. I don't care what it is, but you're gonna need that in this league. And if it's people saying stuff like that, then so be it. That's a good thing.
But it's also a reminder that he can be this good. It's the 3rd time this year he's gone 6 scoreless. I mean, the numbers will say that he doesn't do great 2nd time through the line, but there are nights he can do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, we've seen it. He's capable, and he's been a really solid starter for us. He's had when he has the hiccups, it's usually 1 inning where he struggles. But there's been times if he gets through that inning, he rights the ship again. And I think early in the year, that start in Anaheim comes to mind, where he struggled, got through it, and ended up pitching in the 7th. Certainly capable. I mean, he spins the ball really well. We know this, but he just he looked in control tonight. 1 walk, threw the ball really well.
Going to be a nice feeling, I imagine, to look down the bench and be able to bring in Doobie and now Lane as pinch hitters in those situations.
Yeah, just like I said, I mean, if that's the case, and they end up facing some righties later in the game, it's not a big deal. Both of them can hit right-handed pitching. So yeah, a couple of nice pieces. It's like I talked about before the game. We're going to give us some flexibility to do some things and move the pieces around, keep guys fresh. But yeah, so I talked about how the new pieces fit the roster well, and I think we saw it even tonight with how we use Lane and Dubon.
In your tenure here with the Braves, what's the biggest development you've seen from Grant just over the course of the years?
I think just developing into a good major league starter. We weren't sure what he was when we first got him. Was he reliever? Long man. And then he has shown that he can start in this league. So he's done both. He's been effective in both roles in this league, but certainly has held his own and then some, as a major league starter. And I think that's been the development going from, how does this guy fit to being a starter.
When he was in here talking to us, he was just talking about the intensity that he was going with every bullpen session. He's also been accountable with himself about wanting to get deeper into games and putting the team in the best position to win. As a manager, how nice is it to see a player like that really want to develop and get better every single day and be so public about it?
Yeah, I mean, all these guys work really hard. I know Grant has worked hard. I know he's tried to tweak some things with his delivery. He's searching for the best version of himself, and he's doing a good job of it. And yeah, he looked more relaxed on the mound. He looked. Like I say, he looked in control, and I think it's because he was more relaxed making pitches. So yeah, I mean, if that's what he said, and that's what makes him better, then good for him for finding that.
I know you're not in Grant's head, obviously, but given that the deadline has passed and he has a good chance to be in this rotation. There wasn't multiple guys brought in to perhaps displace him. Does that impact him mentally, you think?
Yeah, like I said, these guys are all human, so they deal with all those emotions and all those thoughts. It's what you do with it, you know. It's there's no shame in feeling those things and thinking those things, but now what do? You know, and you know, and Grant took matters into his own hands and went out there and delivered. That's how you deal with that stuff. You know, there's always pressure to perform in this league. You don't perform and you don't stay in this league. So that pressure's there all the time. But you know, there's added incentives and motivation. I think sometimes if the players handle it the right way and deal with it the right way, it can motivate them and make them better.
Anything else? All right.